because that assignment is related to the presentation style, I think. So yeah, if you attend, I'm hoping you will learn also. And that lady is a professional, not like me. Okay, we are going through the steps of presentation. The first one was planning your presentation. In the planning stage, then you have to consider the topic, the purpose, and the structure of the presentation. Then the next one is writing the content of the presentation. Okay, so make sure you are writing less content and you are planning everything in advance. Okay, and you have to make sure that your content is reliable. If you can write it in a way that people can relate to it, write it as a story, use people instead of objects in your write-up. Like I mentioned, instead of saying it's done by a car, you say it's done by a driver. Okay, so driver is a human being, more relatable. Okay, try to include practical examples. Okay, so I showed you this example where they are using general terms, and the other one they are using more related terms. Okay, like restaurants and so on. Okay, you can use the notes as well, but make sure that you are not reading from the notes. Notes are just there to help you. Use graphical information as much as possible. Use multimedia. Use questions and make sure the questions are related to the daily life of the people. Have you ever done this? Have you ever experienced this? Something like this. Okay, simplify the sentences. Don't write paragraphs, as you can see here. Write bullet points. And don't worry about the short forms because you are there to say the short forms. So if I'm saying SMM, I wrote SMM, which is not a standard abbreviation. Okay, but I know, or I should know, now I forgot, social media marketing. Okay, so I know what it means, and I am the one who is presenting. So if you are using more abbreviations than your report, no problem. Okay, it's not a problem. Okay, then designing of presentation, you have to consider how will you present. Will you be writing on the board? You will be presenting like face to face, or you will be using slides, or what? Okay, choose the font style properly. Don't make too many changes in the font style. Okay, use high quality images, pictures. Okay, use the slide in a symmetric way, vertically, horizontally. Should look like lines. Okay, grids. It's more preferable, but there are other matters as well. Okay, these are just guidelines. In the end, use one idea per slide. Don't post too many things in the same slide. Okay, if it is objective, just the objectives. Okay, if it is one quote, just the one quote, and you talk about it. It can happen. Color scheme, take care of the background and the foreground. Sometimes you have to use colors which are representative of your company, of your logo. So color scheme is very important. Okay. Then the next thing you need to do is you need to proofread, and proofread doesn't mean that you look at something. You read actually. Proofread means what? You have to read. Okay, and reading means word by word. Word by word. Okay. The review is different. Proofread is different. So when you give me your assignment papers, I don't proofread. I review. So maybe you miss something, and I miss the same thing. Good, win-win, right? You don't lose marks, and I don't get angry, right? Which is good. So this is not proofreading. But if you are you are under my supervision, you are doing a project under me, and you give me a report which I have to submit to the university, then I will proofread, word by word. Okay. Then if I miss something, okay, then it's both of us, the fault is on both of us. You shouldn't miss, even if it's a comma. Okay, so proofreading is more detailed. Okay, if you can find someone else to do it for you, it will be good. Okay. Yeah. So There is something I already mentioned, the logo, right? You should use the colors of the logo, the background and so on. Then there is something which we call as brand. Brand is not only your company or your product. Brand is the theme of your presentation. Okay? So what was the theme of your presentation? No, what was the theme? What was the topic? Site investigation, right? Okay, and there was, you were talking about what is the topic of your course? Solar energy, right? Solar panel, right? Okay, so that theme should cover your presentation. Okay, you can put something in the background so people are always on the same topic. Okay, so for example, if your theme is, for example, if you look at those picture over there, what comes into your mind? What does it remind you? Chemistry, right?
Yes.
Chemicals, chemistry, right? So maybe if it is a theme, then you have to carry it throughout the presentation. It should appear somehow. Okay? You can use it in the background of all the slides if you want. Okay? It could be a logo. It could be a logo as well. But brand is not only logo. Keep one thing in mind. Brand is the theme. General. Okay? Like what I've shown here. If I click here, where does it go? No, because most of the links are here. No, this link I was sure that it's something from my PC. And it is from my PC, but I believe it's in some other folder. But other links, you see there are different links. All the blues are the links. Okay, if you click on them, these are online links. So they should work. Okay, they should work. But some of them are from my PC, so they will not work anyways. Okay, this is the last step of the presentation, which is to deliver the presentation. Okay, and again I will emphasize my point. There are 4 steps to presentation. There are 4 steps to presentation. Okay, and this is the last one. So only the last one is giving the presentation. The remaining 3 are preparing. Okay, planning, writing, designing. Okay. So you cannot give a good presentation if you did not prepare well. Okay? If you mess up 75%, then 25% is not good, right? Why or not? Okay? If you have 0 out of 75, then even if you get 25 out of 25, what does it matter? You still have 25 out of 100, right? Okay? Keep it in mind for the exams as well. Okay. Yes. So, if you have prepared very well, so now we are coming towards the importance of the last step. If you have prepared very well, but you could not deliver it properly, then again you will be considered a flop. Okay, so your presentation was very nice, the design was very good. Okay, the content you were presenting was very effective. It was reliable, it was accurate, all numbers were very well, you researched them, your pictures were very good, the videos were very good, okay, but you yourself were not prepared. So in the end, to the audience, it's a flop, okay, they will not pay much attention to it. Okay, so how to give a memorable presentation? These are some things you need to do for the presentation itself. How you prepare yourself, so this is more about yourself, not the presentation, not the PowerPoint, how you prepare yourself. Okay, so the first thing is practice and yes, you need to do practice for practice as well. Okay, do it loudly because you will give the presentation loudly. Okay, the only thing I am good at. Being loud. Do it in front of the mirror so you know what you are doing. Sometimes we are not aware of what we are doing, how we are using our hands. So we think we are doing good, but in the end what we are doing is it is not good. Okay, so do it in front of the mirror. Mirror doesn't tell lies, right? A mirror doesn't tell lies. Why not? Anyways, time yourself. Have a stopwatch with you. Okay, because you are in the middle of the presentation. Somebody says now you have 2 minutes only. Then everything is gone. Okay. Strike powerful poses. Okay. Use some gestures which you consider powerful. Okay. Using your finger, using your hand. Okay. Whatever you consider as powerful. Okay. Show muscles or something. Okay. If you go to the gym, nobody goes to the gym. Right? Good. Okay. Use open-handed gestures. I mentioned maybe earlier as well. Putting hands in your pockets or doing it like this or doing it like this. It's not good. Okay. Keep the hands open, and if you keep the hands open, the gestures come naturally. To most of us, the hand movement is natural if you don't tie it. Okay, so when you do like this, I am tying my head myself. Okay, so it will not come out naturally. Just keep it open, it will come out naturally. Okay, a smile and loosen up to look confident. Okay, so a smile towards the audience. Okay, I tried, but then those are my students. So it becomes difficult, right? But you can smile, no problem. Okay. Try to practice at least once in front of others. Okay. Not in front of the mirror, but other people. Okay. Yeah, now the problem is how do you memorize? I have a slide, I don't know what is happening on the slide. So I have to spend 10 seconds to look at the slide and then I will start speaking. Okay, or I practiced but then I forgot the next line. Okay, so then we do or something like this. Okay, so doing this is not good. It breaks the sequence. It distracts the audience. It doesn't give a good idea about yourself. Okay, he or she doesn't know what he is talking about. So they have given a technique which is called as a memory palace. Okay, so you remember your presentation like you are going inside a home. Okay, so the table of content is the door. Then the first room is the introduction. In the first room I have the objective here and I have the scope here. So they remember it like I am going inside a room or a building. Okay, and then memorize, okay, now I'm in the first room has this. Okay, so something physical that sticks to your mind. If you try to remember them as lines or words, you can forget. So they are saying, imagine that it's something physical. Okay, I don't know. Practice in the afternoon if you can. Maybe it was written by someone like you who doesn't wake up in the morning. Okay, but afternoon time, okay, not good for me. Anyways, write down the main points, and you can. I mentioned it earlier that you can hold it in your hand, but just the main points. Okay, not for reading, and record yourself. Okay, record yourself. There are recording options in PowerPoint as well, or you can do screen recording like what I am doing right now, or record on a phone or whatever. Okay, record yourself. It will help you. Okay, your appearance gives you confidence. Okay, the way you appear in front of the audience, okay, it gives you confidence. So have good, nice, clean clothes, and whatever you feel is considered fashionable or official. This is official, right? Go anywhere in this, right? Okay. So again, and the second thing is maintain a good balance in front of the audience. So have your feet wide apart. So when you're standing, okay, don't move too much and have firm ground in front of the audience. Okay. Yeah, something I did good. Okay, so she will be talking about posture, and I have muted her. Very good. So this comes from planning.
Words you speak. for the right composure in front of an audience, you must remember this circle of impact. More than half of the impact you have on an audience is caused by your body language. 38% of the impact you have is caused by your voice and the way you speak. And only 7% of the impact is due to the content of your story. It's not a lot, is it? So, nice and good body language is very important. Where do we start? We start with our feet, with our legs. We plant them like trees in the earth, which doesn't mean that you can't move around during a presentation, but it needs stability. Your story needs to be stable also, so you need physical stability. And then your shoulders. You have to straighten those shoulders and tuck up your chin. And to know where these shoulders should be, there's a very small exercise. You just lift them up very high and let them drop. And then they are where they should be. So, feet, shoulders, and then your hands and your arms. What do we do with these? Well, one thing you have to remember is that you have to keep an open communication with your public. So, this creates a barrier. We don't do this. This is much too awaiting. You're actually demanding commands from the audience. So what we want to do is to make the distance between yourself and the audience smaller. So reach out with those hands and those arms. All right? Feet, hands, and of course, never to forget, a smile.
Okay, so she mentioned that there are 3 things which affect your presentation. What are those? Body and voice. Content. Okay, which one has the highest impact? Body language. Okay, and in body language, she again mentioned, I believe, 3 things, right?
Yes.
What were those?
Standing position.
Standing position. So I already mentioned, have your feet apart and stand firm. Okay. And what else? Yes. Huh? Hands. Okay. And there was one thing in the middle. Smile. Yeah. Okay. Smile was at the end. Okay. Yes. Shoulders. Okay. So from the feet you went to the hand, the shoulders as well. Okay. So shoulder should be in normal position. Now I will be taking money from them. I'm doing free marketing for them. Okay. Start with something which attracts the audience towards you. Even if they were sleeping, they were tired, they were fatigued, now they are paying attention. So start strong, okay? So have the objectives of your presentation at the start. Okay, so they know what they are about to expect during their presentation. Some other techniques to make the people pay attention to you from the start. I already mentioned that presentations are not for 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay, so they are short events, maybe half an hour, maybe less than that, maybe slightly more, but half an hour on average. So if you lose them at the start, there is no time for you to gain them back. Okay, so some of the things which we can do: tell a personal story. This happened, that happened to me, and okay, so on and so forth. Okay, so again, I mentioned last lecture as well. The story is a very powerful tool to gain the attention of the people. Most of us, we are naturally attracted to stories. That's why movies, we watch movies because of the storyline. Make a provocative statement. Okay, something which is very shocking. Okay, for example, I heard someone who said, okay, one out of 3 from this hall has a mental illness. He started like this. So now it's shocking, right? Okay, and everybody thinks it's me. So something like this. Share a shocking fact or a statistic or number. Okay, ask them a question. We already mentioned some of the questions. They start with a prop. So you have a flag in your hand or a stick in your hand, or you have. Last time I offered this course, there was a guy who had his project, and he made a prototype. He came with a prototype. Okay, so that's a prop. Prop means something, a thing. Okay, so you show people an object. Okay, show a video or a meaningful picture. Okay, if you want some good examples, listen to TED Talks. Maybe you have heard about it. Okay, there are many people, very famous people, very famous celebrities and businessmen. They are invited to these TED Talks. You can search on Google or YouTube. You will find many TED Talks. Okay, and the most the most important thing about those TED Talks, they don't have screens or they don't have slides, but still they are considered very useful and they are very interesting. Okay, so how to do that without showing anything, you will learn a lot. Okay, so look at that. Okay, observe the audience. Communication is never one way. Communication is a two-way business. Okay, it's a two-way activity. So you are saying something, yes, fine, but you have to look at the audience, what they are, what is their behavior, what is their reaction, are they getting angry, are they getting bored, okay? You may have to do something within the presentation based upon the reaction of the audience. So it's not like I have prepared a script and then I will go according to the script no matter what is happening, in the room. You have to change something, okay? So look at the audience and take their feedback into your consideration, okay? You can look at their facial expression, their face, okay, and their eyes as well, especially. Okay, look at their body language. Okay, you can observe what type of questions they are asking. Are they asking very basic questions which you already explained? So that means they didn't get it. They are not getting it. Okay, are they asking questions about something else which you did not even present? So they are interested in something else. Okay, so things like this. If you see people who are getting restless in their seats, some of them very, cruel, so they start yawning as well, right in your face. They will just open their big mouth and start looking at you. This is horrible. Okay, or they start looking at the phones. Okay, or you start looking at the phone. That is also bad. Okay, then what do you do if you see something like this? Okay, so there are a few things which I have mentioned here. Then you ask them a question. Okay, it will get their attention. You change the subject. So whatever you are presenting is not useful for them. It's not interesting for them. Talk about something else. Okay. Tell them a joke or a humorous statement, something, okay, which they can laugh beside you. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I have seen this happening in seminars as well. They said, okay, you have been sitting there. Maybe they were sitting there for maybe 2-3 presentations. Okay, so they ask them, okay, get up and have a jump or, clap or whatever. Okay, to get the body warmed up. Sometimes it's just physical. Sometimes it is just physical. People are already sitting in these seats for 2 hours. What are you expecting now? They will do these things. It's natural. Okay? Sometimes if you feel if it is physical, then you can do something like this. Okay? Ask them to do something physical. So the body warms up and they are back in the game. Okay? If you have time, you cannot think of any activity, give them a break. Okay? We always need a break, right? Very good. Okay. Or you can ask them to ask questions. Okay? So you can have one of these techniques. So we had a speaker. She is very junior. She was my student. She was presenting last week. She was presenting last week, and there were students. She was trying to ask them some questions. They were not answering. Okay, it was in the morning, so you are same in the morning, in the evening, right? You don't answer any questions. So then she said, okay, don't answer me any questions like you were saying. Just say yes or no. Still they didn't say anything. So they said, okay, just do a thumbs up. Okay, so then they started doing something. Okay, and once they did one thing, then they are more likely to do the next activity as well. because they already started moving now. Okay, so it's always the first thing. Okay, one, call it a secret or whatever, but when we used to have conferences, so people normally don't ask questions in conferences. Okay, so what do? We used to have some students and we used to give them questions. So when the question answer session comes, you ask this question. Now we are the organizers. We were the organizers. Okay, a student was a blanket. Okay, you have to ask this question, whatever happens. Okay, the purpose was, if others see that a question is asked and he is answering, so whatever shyness they are feeling, maybe they are shy, they don't want, okay, or they are not thinking, they just want to go. But when the questions start, the others are also encouraged to start asking the questions. Okay, so sometimes what you need is just a start. Okay, we call it a kick start. Okay, so this is what you need. So if you see that you are doing very well, none of these things is happening, people are paying attention to you, okay, they are not yawning, they are not looking at the phone, they are enthusiastic, they are paying attention, just keep it going. Okay, just keep it going, and then you have to keep the same level till the end. Okay, yeah, don't try to be someone else during the presentation. Okay, you like the style of that person, you like the accent of that person, okay, you feel that person is a very good presenter and you try to behave like them. No, don't do this. Okay, copying is not good. You adopt something, you practice it, it's something else. Okay, but you are just trying to copy it, that's not good. Okay, your style is your own, develop your own style. Okay, you want to adopt something from someone, that's something else. Okay, but I am putting my hand in my pocket because I saw that person do that. This is copying. Don't do this. Okay, so do it naturally. Okay, if you want to adopt something, then you take it and you practice it and you see how it's done properly. Don't copy anyone. Okay, if you are copying someone, people will realize that he is trying to copy someone or he is trying to copy something. Okay, and when they realize this, then your whole image is gone. Okay, because copying means what? You don't know. That's why you are copying, right? Because you cannot do anything on your own. That's why you have to copy now. Okay, so be authentic, be yourself, and obviously you will make mistakes. Mistakes are part of the game. Okay, you will make mistakes, you will mess up some words, you will forget somewhere. Okay, but that's fine. That's fine. It can happen. Okay, so this is what they are saying. Be authentic and vulnerable. Okay, it makes the audience pay more attention to you. Okay, it's a natural thing. It's something which is natural. When I'm presenting naturally, you are looking at me, or I'm looking at someone who's presenting. My mind, if he is doing it naturally, my mind works with him. Okay, he made this mistake now. He made a mistake. Even his mistake will make me pay more attention. Okay? Or why do you see these short clips? Okay, people are saying one word or one letter or something and it makes you laugh, right? Okay. And you look at it again and again. It happens, right? You see funny videos, people are doing different things and they are saying different things. And you look at it again and again. Why? Okay. Not because they are good, because sometimes it is very bad. And that bad gets your attention. So if you are natural, and even if you are making mistakes, those mistakes will attract attention of the people. If you are trying to copy, that will be damaging to your image. Okay, and then in that case, people find it more relatable as well. Okay, he is someone from us. Okay, he makes mistakes like me. Okay, he is not perfect or she is not perfect, so I can. Okay, he is someone from us. So it makes you more relatable, and obviously then you can tell stories as well related to the topic or related to yourself to make yourself look more realistic. Okay, so you have like a good mentioned here, a very good presenter, she comes and says that presentation was not easy for her as well. Okay, like she used to feel embarrassed at the time of her first presentation. Okay, so now you can relate. Yes, it happens to me as well. So I should see and listen how did he or she become a good presenter if this was the case. Okay. I already mentioned for the first 6 years of my life I was mute. I didn't speak a word. Okay, they used to call me mute. Okay, and now I don't shut up. Okay, you need to conclude your presentation strongly as well on a high note. Okay, do your presentation. Once I was we were hearing a presentation. I was doing my PhD, and the guy was presenting very well, and suddenly he said thank you and went on. Was gone. I said what happened? Suddenly, okay. Nobody knew the presentation is finished. Okay, so do not do something like this. How to finish strongly? Give the audience a message which they can act upon. Okay, from today onwards, you will do this for the environment, or this for the health, or this for the community, something like this. Summarize your presentation in the end. What have you done today? What have you discussed today? Summarize it. Give 2-3 points, which is summarizing the whole presentation, so the people know that where they were sleeping. Okay, sometimes you don't know, right? Okay. There are some other good ways to finish your presentation. End with a memorable quote. Quote means some famous words which somebody else has said, and bring it in your presentation. Drive your main points home. Now you like to give them the final punch. Okay. On the basis of my presentation, I conclude this. Okay. On the basis of my presentation, I say the whole world should be using this material, something like this. Okay. Something strong, something very powerful. Close with the story. Stories always work. Right? When nothing works, tell them a story. Okay. So what I do with my daughters as well. Nothing works, I tell them a story. Then they go to sleep, and I can sleep as well. Okay. Use a strong call to action. Give them some task which they can do directly after the presentation. Okay. Okay. Leave time for questions. Okay. So people have questions. Maybe they want to ask you something. Maybe they want to give their opinion, their comments. So give them time for this as well. Okay. If there are no questions, that could also mean that you did not do your job properly. No question means two things, right? You know that? What are the two things? No question means what two things? Okay, or no question means two things, I will tell you. No question means either you did not understand anything, or you understood everything. If there was something in between, you will have questions. Okay, so no question means you got everything or you got nothing. Okay, in both cases, you don't answer any questions. Be honest for the questions. Okay, so if you don't know anything, just say I don't know. Okay, don't get into argument. Okay, even if the question, if you feel that if the question is biased, somebody is very angry at something and he is asking in this way, you have to be calm and relaxed and so on. Okay, and make sure that you are giving the answer honestly. Okay. Once it happened that there was a group of students and they get into an argument with the examiner, and they kept on going and going and going. Obviously, the examiner is the examiner. Okay, he is not supposed to shut up, and the students are not shutting up as well. So it was going and going. Okay, so don't do these things. If the students say, okay, we don't know this, finish, move on. Okay. Prepare backup content, something which you may do. It's not part of the presentation. If you have time, if the audience are getting bored, then you will do something like this. Okay. You should always make different plans. If this doesn't work, then you will do this. If this doesn't work, like this isn't all in your head. This is all part of your planning. You don't have to show it on the screen, or you don't have to tell the audience. Okay. You may have some problems and have a plan ready for the logistics as well. Okay, like we were having the problem with the presentation last time, right? Send it on Teams, send it on mail. Okay, so we're trying to look for different options. So yeah, it's a class, you can do it the next time. But what about the real conference, the real seminar, the real meeting, the business meeting? The client will not come for you every day. So have different plans ready. Okay, if the screen doesn't work, then what will you do? If the mic doesn't work, then call me, whatever. Okay, so have different plans ready for the logistics as well. Okay, like something like this. I can put the presentation in the screen, I can connect the laptop. Okay, even the laptop has 2 or 3 types of connections. Okay, so have something like this ready. Okay, you can have backup questions, some additional material, some additional example. But again, this is in your head. If I feel I'm going too fast, I can give more examples. If I have more time, I can give more examples, ask more questions. People are getting bored, I can ask more questions, something like this. Yeah, you can have some extra slides to meet the requirements of the audience as well. I believe this is almost the end. Okay, some points mentioned here for a good presentation and a bad presentation.
Marketing is an activity set for institutions and process for creating. Most girls like, can you call me back? I'm having a presentation right now. Yeah. That have the value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Values for customers. Writing does not meet task or omission. Point to lack.
Okay, so this is like a summary of what we have already discussed, the things which we have already discussed in different phases of the presentation. Yeah. Okay, so all these guidelines which I have presented here are taken from different sources, but they are from empirical observations. Okay, people saw something which they found useful and looks interesting, it looks appealing, it looks good, so this should be part of a good presentation. Okay, same thing for the report as well. If you see something which looks good, then you can adopt it, it's good. Okay, so there is no hard and fast rule. Okay, that the number should be 2 and not 3. If 2 is good, then 3 is wrong. No. If 2 is looking good, it's good. If 3 is looking good, that's good, no problem. Okay, I mentioned you have to put in vertical and horizontal lines. But if you use circular It looks good, okay, fine, no problem. Okay, you can use it. Okay, so this is all empirical, observation based. Okay, so now the trends have changed, people are using different things. So if you find something different from this, even opposite to what I have seen, I have said and shown, it is totally opposite to that, but it looks good, you can still do it, no problem. Okay, so it's about what looks good. Okay, and how do you become a good presenter? How do you become a good speaker? How do you become a good writer? You have to observe. You have to observe. You have to observe. Okay, only thing. You don't do anything else. But if you take enough seminars, good people, and you see enough good presenters, you will become a good presenter. Okay, so you have to spend time in that. This is interesting. This is the most interesting part of this whole field of presenting and talking, public speaking. That to become good in this field, you have to look at something which feels good to you. You get my point? Okay, so in civil, in mechanical, chemical, whatever, if they will say, okay, you want to become a good chemical engineer, read books. Solve examples, which could be boring, right? But in this whole field, there's nothing. If something is boring, this means it's not good. Okay? If something is boring, it means it's not good. Okay? So now the feedback is coming, right? You can write in that. Dr. Uneb was very boring. They will change me. Okay? Then, but next time others don't have to listen to me as well. Okay? Clear? Clear? Okay? What is good is good. Okay? You can adopt it. Then, okay, these are the links. You can go to these links and you can find the content with examples, video examples and so on. Okay, now the ultimate last point is there's a difference between teaching and presenting. A presenter and teacher are two different things. Okay. What are the extra responsibilities of a teacher which a presenter doesn't have? First thing is a teacher has a responsibility of the students. A presenter doesn't have. A teacher has an outcome, learning outcomes, right? We tell you in the course paper there are outcomes. A presenter doesn't have outcomes. I have to make sure that you people are fulfilling the outcomes. Every teacher has to make sure that you are fulfilling the outcomes. If the students don't fulfill the outcomes, it's a responsibility of the teacher. Okay? But everybody was happy at the end of the presentation, they were laughing and so on, and they went home, job done for the presenter, not for the teacher. Okay? That teacher has to make or give material which is self-explanatory. Okay? That's why you will see presentations of me and my colleagues which have lots of text. Lots of equations. The things which I said should not be part of the presentation. This is to facilitate you. Okay, so you don't go to the book because you don't go to the book, obviously. Okay, so you can look at the slides and at least gain something. Okay, so we have to make things self-explanatory. And the last thing is accountability. Okay, anybody can ask me, what did you teach to the students, and I have to answer them with confidence. That yes, my students know this much. Okay, at the end of the course, they know this much. A presenter, 100 people are sitting in the audience, only 2 people are listening properly and the rest are not listening. No. Nobody will ask him why the others were not listening to you. Nobody will ask. A teacher has accountability. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, so for the next time, I already mentioned there